Now here comes part 2. Actually, the cat is jumping on the table where the camera is staying, but that's most of the exciting thing. But there's more good talk about why to go from gasoline to electric and all of the advantages Model 3. For those ones in Europe where the Model 3 coming very soon next year and where the ordering will start opening. So stay tuned and you get more pretty good information about Model 3 and electric car driving.
I pressed insane. I went insane.
You're running the camera over.
You
got a camera cat.
He's.
That's his spot.
Yeah, that's his.
That's his spot?
All right. Well,
He's throwing the camera over soon. So in case you're seeing some whisks on your camera, on the picture, that is the cat.
He's our shop cat. Yeah, so moving from the Leaf to the Tesla was a big.
That was EV freedom.
Big change
my
at EV
God,
freedom. Yeah,
just a
so we can
huge difference.
go anywhere, and it charges faster. We all of a sudden have a charging network we can go to, and that was the main reason.
Actually, compared to the Model X and Model S, you're charging faster.
Oh,
So
yeah.
from the mileage, what you can range, from the range, where you can
Yeah,
get.
well, we were traveling with Brian, who has a 2012 Signature Model S, which I think only charges at 80 kilowatts.
Yeah, maximum 90. Yeah.
Yeah, so whenever we got to the charging stations or the superchargers, come on, Wookie.
boo holes in the picture. Come on.
10 minutes later, I was done and ready to go, and he had another 30 minutes to go. So that'll explain how far Tesla's come in, 6 years?
Yes.
On their technology and how fast they can charge, which is really, really impressive.
And that's all coming from one motor in the back, which is very efficient motor.
Oh yeah, lots of good pickup on this car. Yeah.
It's got permanent magnet motor. It's not AC.
Induction, yeah, it's not induction. It's a permanent magnet motor, so it's more efficient.
Yeah.
So the best thing about the Model 3, obviously, it's a Tesla. It looks cool. It's fun to drive. You can charge it at home. It's an electric car. But you really don't appreciate how cool Tesla is or how great the car is until you take it on a long road trip. And then you really see what makes it Tesla, what makes it so cool. And that's the charging network and the ability to drive wherever you want to go,
and
anytime you want to go.
So what are you thinking about all of the competitors, when Jaguar comes and Mercedes and Porsche? And
It's necessary to get the movement going.
Yes.
But all these Tesla killers that are coming out aren't going to do anything because as soon as you get to the range of that car is dead. And the Tesla's going to keep going to the next supercharger. Yeah. And all these other car companies, Jaguar or the Porsche Mini or the Taycan, something like that, unless they have the charging network, it's just going to be around town car. And that's where the big difference is. And Tesla's got the technology to really make that work. And that's what they do because they're an EV car company. So
I recently saw a YouTube video, and the YouTube video says that we went to that iPace event, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So and
we saw that.
They said it's approximately 240 miles, right?
Approximately.
But there was a guy driving it with 90 kilometers, which is about 55 miles, a little bit more than 55 miles per hour, on a semi-wet road, pretty even, and he was having a consumption of 400 watt per mile.
I went to the event.
400 watt per mile. This is 150 watt more than your car has.
Right. And when I was at the event, I saw the card that showed you all the specs of the car, and it's a 240 mile range with a 90 kilowatt battery. So there's some serious efficiency problems with that car.
I think technical accessibility is 84.7 or something like that.
Yeah, it's not very efficient. So the car in and of itself was a Jaguar. The build quality was good. The finishing touches were good. The details were very nice.
Yeah.
Tesla, as far as their coach building goes, has a little ways to go for the fine tuning of it. I mean, it's a great looking car, but there's some details that could be finished a little bit better. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to the electric part of the car, the drivetrain, the performance, you can't even come close to it. The Jaguar is just kind of a disaster. It's got a big battery and not the range to go with the big battery.
Yeah.
So they don't have the technology like Tesla does. So once they get there, that'll be great.
And at the end, you think that they're failing just on the network, right?
That too. I mean, the big thing I laughed at when the Bolt came out, the Chevy Bolt,
is
I read an interview with Clean Technical or somebody, one of the EV magazines that wrote an article. They interviewed Mary Barra, and they asked her, is Chevy going to support the expansion of the CCS charging network to support the Bolt? And she said no. And I'm like, well, there goes the Bolt. Who's going to be interested in that? So
there's nobody gonna.
But if you think about it, that's the way big auto builds cars. They build the car, and fueling it is your problem. That's how they work, because there's gas stations everywhere. But when you build an electric car, fueling is kind of a problem at this point. So, like Tesla, Elon knew that if I want to sell this car, I got to give people a way to drive around. I got to put a supercharging network out.
And he likes to do road trips.
Oh, he must.
He was with his brother. He was going across country, I think, 2 times.
We tried to take the Leaf to Tucson, which isn't even 100 miles. And now we looked on PlugShare, and we could have gone from where we got stuck with the Jabmo. We could have gone about 15 miles
south
in one direction to a level 2, sat there for about 4 hours, and then continued on. But I mean, now our hour-and-a-half trip to Tucson is now taking 7 hours, and that's no fun. So we just went back. So
that was in the original time of my Roadster. I did at one time a trip with the Roadster to San Diego, and it took me the whole day to San Diego. The whole day. I was stopped at the...
Well, you're a pioneer.
Yes, but I wanted to be on that Cars for Kids. There was an event there where they had all of the big gas guzzler cars, the big Lamborghini, Ferraris, and then my Roadster came across the corner.
What is that?
Yeah.
Is that a car?
You just saw me, you didn't hear me. So I wanted to go to that event, and we made it. And I was going to do another story about this trip.
That's
so
cool.
That's
back in the day too, before all the chargers.
There was no supercharger there.
Well, that's where the important thing is. So Tesla's been building their supercharger network for 6 or 7 years now. And they've got like 10,000 some odd of them all across the country. So anyone else to compete with that is going to have to build up an equally dense fast charge network in less than 6 years if they want to really compete. So,
yes.
So the Porsche Taycan with their 350 kilowatt charging network, it's going to take them, I think, way longer than 6 years to build anything close to Tesla.
And you know what they're saying?
Tesla's going to have twice as many out there.
So what they're saying is that they wanted to install them at all Porsche dealers. So, but now
that's still going to be
who is going to be there and keep the Porsche dealership open at 24/7?
When you drive across the country, you realize pretty quick that there's not a city with car dealerships every 100 or 200 miles.
Yes.
There's sometimes 500-600 miles between dealerships because you go across some states that don't have a lot of stuff along the freeways or don't have cities here.
There's probably maybe one Porsche dealership in Nebraska.
Exactly. So
when
you're going to get stuck.
Yes.
It's not like you're driving around California where they're every 50 miles. You're not going to have the flexibility to go anyplace really. And there's going to come a time when we're going to look back at Tesla and go, oh man, those superchargers only charged at 120 kilowatts and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be all these really fast 500 kilowatt chargers all over the place, and Tesla will be superseded by all the new technology. That's 40, 50 years down the line.
Yeah.
Just like the smartphones. The Apple iPhone was the greatest thing ever, but now there's HTC, there's Samsung, there's LG, all have great phones. So Apple is just like, we're one of a dozen phones. So in that time, they'll look at Tesla and go, yeah, remember when that was the best thing? Now everything else is even faster. So Tesla's going to have to step its game up. But right now, that's the bar to beat. Tesla's the bar to beat. You got to beat that.
And they're going to experience on liquid cooling to get more power in. But also at the same time, they're saying, hey, if I'm pushing more power in, then it goes to the cost of the battery.
Yep.
Right.
So yeah, charging at 350 kilowatts is nice, but the practicality of that I think has not been considered yet because that's pretty impractical. 120 is pretty fast. If you bump it up to 150, I've heard rumors of them jumping up to 150.
Yeah.
That's still pretty quick.
Still pretty quick.
Yeah. And as far as the capacity goes, I mean, once you get over 400 miles per charge, that's all you really need because you just supercharge on road trips and you drive your car around town.
Yeah. And the legs, what you drove, the 800 miles in one piece, that's a lot.
That is the maximum
what you
800
really can
miles
go.
per day is the most I'd ever drive. I think 600 is a lot. 400 is a more comfortable way.
400,
To drive.
300, 400 miles is the more comfortable.
That way
to
you can drive during the daylight hours, and you can get a nice sleep. You can enjoy dinner. I was driving all day long.
All day,
Other than
early in the
night.
morning to late at night. Right?
Yeah, it was just a lot of driving. But I drove the whole thing without autopilot. So I didn't get autopilot in my car. I didn't know if I'd like it or not.
No, I didn't get it either.
And I found the cruise control, the regular stock cruise control, was just fantastic. I got on the freeway, I popped it into cruise control, and you can drive with the thumb wheel. You can adjust your speed that way.
Yes.
And that's it. I never had to touch the accelerator.
And
I just drove along.
I noticed even when one time my autopilot on the Model X went out, and then I had, because I didn't watch, I was driving over the autopilot speed
And it gave you a punishment, no more autopilot
Yes,
for you until
yes.
you stop.
until the next stop. And so I drove over the speed and I said, okay, I'm driving on cruise. I drove on cruise. It was even better sometimes
Yeah,
because you're just holding the steering wheel.
To me, it's
this
more
adaptive.
relaxing.
It was adaptive cruise.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay, gotta go, just going a little bit, because if you're very loose on the steering wheel, but with autopilot, you have to really squeeze it or shake it, right?
Yeah,
But
the nagging just
and
kind
the
of.
nagging is too much. For me, it's too much.
So we have the 14-day trial that we're doing with autopilot. So we've been playing around with it.
Have you already
Yeah,
installed it?
we started last week, and we've been driving around. And I drove to see my friend in Peoria, which is about 25 miles on the freeway. And I got on the 51, popped on autopilot, and it actually took me on the freeway. It transitioned me from the 51 to the 101, and it took me off the freeway. And I had latched onto a car in front of me, so it took me off the freeway. And I got 2 signals down the Alameda, whatever road I was on, before the car in front of me turned, and then I lost my car. Because with the car in front of you, it stops at the red lights and does whatever that car does.
Oh, yes,
So it stayed autopilot the whole way until that car left, and then I had to take it out of autopilot.
Yeah.
But while I was on autopilot, it was pretty fun and it was cool. But it kept nagging me, and I had to keep grabbing the wheel, and I had to keep giving it a little tug and everything. And to me, I was watching the line. I was watching the screen to see that autopilot saw the lines. I was watching the cars, watching what it was doing, watching the driving, and it was not really as relaxing to me as just having it in cruise control and just driving along. Maybe it's me. I like to drive the car, so I think autopilot is neat, but it's
my wife is very typical. She likes to drive.
Yeah.
She wants to drive and not let the car driven.
I'm the same way. So I'm like, yeah, it's not worth it to me. Unless autopilot was 100% perfect every time, all the time, and I could take a nap, then I'd be like all over autopilot.
I'm thinking also that $5,000 to $6,000, it's quite a piece.
Yeah, $2,500 like it was before, I would have got autopilot.
Yeah, $2,500.
$5 grand, like,
okay. I would sign up for that, right?
Yeah.
So an additional feature, but now $5,000 or $6,000 for autopilot.
That's a large chunk of change that goes.
And then the
that's small.
functionality is not much more than Hardware 1. So I compare that always to Hardware 1.
you?
Hardware 1 on my white one it had autopilot, and it was as good as that Hardware 2 autopilot now. So now they have to really step up before I even would do something.
Well, they have all the
Sounds cool,
cameras
right?
and everything for full self-driving and all that, so I'm told, but
Yeah, the cameras they are there for full self-driving.
I prefer
Yeah.
just to drive it myself. So like when I drove all the way to Virginia and back, that was 6,000 miles round trip. I drove the whole time, and I never thought, man, I wish I had autopilot.
So
Because I was just
what
driving.
did your relatives in Virginia say about the car?
They all thought everybody had to come see it. Everybody wanted to check it out.
Yeah.
My mom thought it was really cool. She said, "You want to charge your car? This is really cool." So they all liked it. Everybody thought it was like really nice. It's a nice car. My mom's neighbor came over and I took him for a drive. He's like, "I've been thinking about these," and I took him for a drive. He's like, "Yeah, I got to get one of these. This is cool." And then
Did you order one or not?
I don't know if he did or not, yeah. But my nephew Joey, he drove the Leaf when he was out here to visit us. He drove the Spark, and I drove that out there, and he drove this. He's like, "Wow, this is really cool." So then I set up an appointment over in Virginia for us to test drive a Model X with Ludacris mode.
Yeah.
And he drove that, and he stepped on that, and he's like, "Holy crap, that was insane! That was crazy." So yeah, everybody that sees a car loves the car, and it's kind of interesting too because you take it to people that know Tesla and they follow Tesla, and everybody's like, "Well, look at it's got paint problems, or there's missing a screw here, or the body panel alignment." All the people on Facebook. And I'm like, "Yeah, you're too close to it. You need to step back, take a look at what it is." So I've been taking it and showing it to all my car buddies. These guys are people that they own shops and they've been building muscle cars for 20 years, and they race their cars. They do autocross, and I show them this car, and all they know is like, they know of Tesla, but they don't know much about Tesla. And they're like just totally loving this car. They're like, this is really an awesome car. They're driving it for what it is. The performance is great. The acceleration is intense. Everyone says the paint looks great. This is an amazing looking car. The details are great. So they appreciate the car for what it is because they don't know Tesla. So they look at it from the outside going, this is the first time I'm seeing this car. It's a fantastic car. It looks great. It's got great performance. It's comfortable. There's a lot of room. The technology is great. The screen is great. No one had issues with the speedometer being over here. No one had issues with all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, people complain on Facebook about the small stuff. But these are guys that don't have electric cars. They don't really care enough to even go test drive one. And I take it to them, and they love this car. They're like, this is the next generation of car. Because they're stepping on it, and they're like...
Instantly.
And the one guy, Tom, he owns a shop right down the street. He's got 10 car bays and a 10 bay shop. He also has a hot rod shop in the back. He builds high-end hot rods, you know, $100,000. Good guy, award-winning things. He drove this car, and I watched him. He drove it for like 40 minutes, and he's studying the car as he's driving around. He just takes on the freeway and steps on it. He looks at me, he's laughing. He goes, 100 miles is just like right there. And I didn't even feel it. It was right there.
Yeah.
So smooth. And I said, go about 60 and then step on it for passing power. And he's like, holy crap, this thing has tremendous power at any speeds. And this isn't even the performance model.
Yeah.
And he was loving the way this car drove. He's like, it's so smooth. It's just an amazing car. He likes that car a lot. So he gets it. Everybody that knows cars gets it. And those are the best people to find out what this car is really like are people that don't know much about Tesla. Because for the people like us, we're too close to it and we look at all the flaws. We can't really step back and appreciate the true beauty of the car.
Yeah.
So I look at it and I'm like, this is really a great car. So what? The panel gaps are not perfect. I mean, I can show you a Porsche, a new Mustang, a Corvette driving down the road, and there's a little panel gap that's not right. It happens.
Yeah, but it's annoyance. I think it's kind of in the tolerances.
Yeah.
So
I
when
mean,
I looked at my car as well, it was,
yeah, I mean, my car is probably not perfect, but it looks great. You know, I mean, there's a couple flaws you'll probably never see them. You know, these people look at the cars going, amazing car. And Tesla's, 10 years into coach building, the body of the car.
Yeah.
So they're a very young company, so it's going to get better. You know, they don't have 100 years experience yet.
Yeah.
But where they do, I think the drivetrain, the electronics, the battery, you can't, I mean, Tesla surpasses everybody. It's the world's best battery pack. There's, what was it, the Moss company or some company that disassembles cars?
Yes.
Who's that guy?
Yeah. I saw the little report on...
Sandy something is his name.
Yeah.
And they got the Model 3 and they were making fun of it because of panel gaps. And look how you got to open the door. And look, there's no emergency door latch in the back. And this is like 1970s, blah, blah, blah. And then
a couple of weeks later...
they come back and they test drove it. And they're like, holy crap, this car handles amazingly. And then they took it apart and they said, this is the best built battery pack we've ever seen. These are the best
as I said, also the
we've
electronic
ever seen.
components are very compressed in one area.
These are like F-14 fighter jet type componentry for electronics. So they were very impressed with that. So it goes to show you that for the guts of what this car is, of what Tesla is, they're supreme in that area. For the coach building, you know, they got a little bit to learn, and it'll get better over time. But even that said, I like the fact that the doors sound good, the glass looks great, the pop doors. Everyone likes the door handles. Everyone I've showed the car to is the door handles are really cool. They like them a lot.
Yeah,
and I
they are
think cool.
flush to the body. Yeah.
So the design of the car is great. The flexibility of the car is great. The lines are really nice. I don't have really anything to complain about. And you know, coming from my Leaf, which I thought was a pretty cool car, this car has even more room inside. I'm 6'10".
So what did you do with the Leaf now?
We gave it back. We just leased it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
We weren't going to buy anything that didn't have less than 300 miles or cross-country traveling capability.
Yeah, why should you?
No charging.
Then the Spark is leased as well?
Yeah, leased as well, yep.
Yeah, and then you wait until the lease is up and then...
Yep. That's basically a free car. It's $100 a month lease.
Really?
Because the Spark was like 28,000 or give or take, but at the time we got it, they were starting to get rid of them because they were getting ready for the Bolts.
Yes.
So they were giving us the federal tax rebate of $7,500, the California tax rebate, and all these rebates plus dealer rebates. So I think it was like 14 grand we paid for the car.
And then on 14 grand a lease.
So I'm like, for $100 we'll lease that. It's like she was paying $150 a month in gas just to go to work. Now we pay $100 for the car and maybe $10 a month for the electricity. So it's even cheaper. So when the lease is up for that car,
Yeah, it's
we either do another Model 3 or
or Model Y.
Model Y, or maybe the Model, whatever they call the small one. See what that'll be. You know, I mean, because you got to have the supercharging network. That's what you
Yeah,
gotta
that's yeah.
Because
that's one.
even the base Model 3 at 220 miles, you can still travel across the country with it.
Yes.
You can still go anywhere you want. The only challenge I had was going from, where was that stop? It was from Flagstaff going backwards to, what's the other one out there?
Camp Verde.
No, it's 100. It's I think 100 and no, it's 250 something miles from supercharger to supercharger.
From Flagstaff.
If you go to Flagstaff and you go east, which one is that?
Then there is the next one in Gallup, the next one in Albuquerque, and then there is Gallup, Albuquerque, then there is after Albuquerque.
Well, let me get my notes. You can edit this part out.
Yes.
So driving back from Virginia,
Yeah, so
I went Silverthorne.
Mike goes back in his notes.
I kept a log of all my travels.
Lisa was not with him, right?
No, I had to work.
to check my
It didn't
efficiency.
take that much time off.
I went to Limon, Limon Charger, Lyman,
Where?
Colorado.
In Colorado.
And then
okay.
Denver, Colorado, then Silverthorne, Grand
So
Junction,
you
Colorado.
went north. So you went north up and then over.
Yeah, we were staying like towards the mid-states.
So then we went.
That was
You
on the
went
way
over
back.
Farmington? Did you go over Farmington?
Moab, went to Moab, Utah,
Yeah.
then Blanding, Utah.
Landing Utah. Yes.
Now from Blanding, Utah to Flagstaff is 254 miles.
Oh yes, you have to go to through
Yep.
Monument Valley.
That was on his
Yep.
way back.
That's a piece to drive.
That is, and I'm like, you know what? I got the Model 3 with 310 miles range. So I was at Blanding, and they actually have a big solar panel there. I took a picture. I charged all the way up to 302 miles.
Yeah.
And I drove, and that was about the only time I was worried. 'Cause I was watching my efficiency, thinking I got to stay below 250, and it was going down. It said my estimated range when I got there was like 18%. Then it was down to 11% and 10%. Then it went back up because of the elevation and stuff.
Yeah.
And I stopped a couple times just to take a break. But yeah, I got there, and
In Flagstaff?
I got to Flagstaff, and I drove 254 miles, and I actually used 263 miles. So it was pretty good efficiency getting there.
Yeah.
I only lost 12 miles, but it was still pushing the car. I mean, that was about the farthest you could go.
Yeah, that was
Safely,
That,
you know.
But there is I don't know if the charger is there, but there is a charge. There will be a supercharger in Page.
There's
In Page,
Oh!
just at the border to Utah.
Is there?
That's cool.
I have to look, but let me look at my app because they wanted to install a charger in Page.
Is that a 5? iPhone 5?
That's a 5 SE, yes.
We had the 5S for a while.
We got 8s now.
Here, you see that one?
Yeah.
There's a supercharger in Page, Arizona, 8 stalls.
Wow.
So you could have driven from here. Here's the border, and here's Blending.
But that's going up around there.
That's Blending. So you have to go across here. Then you go to Monument Valley. Then from here, and then you have to go across from here to here. There are streets there to Page, Arizona.
Yeah, I
And-
wanted to just go straight. I wanted to do the straight shot.
You want to get straight down.
I wanted to see if I could do it, and I did it. And
Yeah, you did
It
it.
worked out great. So it
Yeah.
was pretty close. Yeah.
So
Oh.
then,
And I was averaging 244 watts per mile. So that was good.
did Brian went through farming?
Yeah, he went
to
We
Farmington.
separated because I wanted to just get
So
home.
he went down there and then went to Farmington and then from there to
You know, he
Gallup.
ended
and
he ended up in the Grand Canyon.
yeah.
So he did more sightseeing. I think it was at, let's see, it was at, not Blanding. Probably Grand Junction is where we separated. He went his way, I went my way,
Yeah.
because I wanted to get home, and he was just going to stay out for a few more days doing stuff. So I had to get back to work and all that. My vacation was coming to an end. But that was about the longest trip I went. Most of the superchargers were probably about 100 miles, give or take.
So because I one time with Martina's car, 2012, a signature S, right? So we went with 4 people and we went to Blending, and then from Blending we wanted to go to Page because there is Antelope Canyon in Page, no? Yeah, Antelope Canyon.
Is that it?
Yeah, and there was no supercharger in Page, so I drove them with the Model S towards Page, and then he said, and then the car gives you a big sign. There is no known charger close, so it means you are running out of electricity.
You better find a plug somewhere.
So, and I knew I had it planned, and there is an RV park. So we charged up the 14-50 in an RV park, and then we went to we walked to the hotel. Actually, I dropped them off at the hotel first, put the car in the RV park, then walked back, and then next morning I picked up the car again. But now in Page, directly at the border from Arizona to Utah, there's now a supercharger with 8 stalls at the hotel.
Well, I'm waiting for the one to go up in is it going to be Payson?
Payson.
Oh yeah, that's
So
one
we
in
can
Payson.
go to so we can go to Pine Top.
Oh, that's
easier.
good. That's nice. Yeah.
Because we're going to Pine Top at the end of September for the car show up there, and it's 190 miles Pine Top from here, and we're going to take our bikes, which is going to give us extra drag.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how many miles it's actually going to take to get there. I'm
But
just
you could go to Camp Verde or Camp what is that, directly there on I-17, and then from I-17 across I-17 to Payson, and then from Payson.
superchargers in Camp Verde.
Yeah, the Camp Verde. Yeah, there's a supercharger there.
I was going to go straight. I think straight up 17. I got to look at my map though. I didn't see anything.
Yeah, you get
else.
straight up 7, but there is a supercharger. Is it Camp Verde or is it Camp?
I think that's kind of out of the way though, isn't it?
Showing you that right now. Cordes Lakes,
Oh yeah, Cordes Junction.
Cordes Junction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's that trip?
And then you have to go across.
Yeah, that's like 50 miles extra.
So here then you get Cordes Junction, then Camp Verde, then you have to go across to Payson, and then you have to go to
Yeah, that's like 50 plus miles that way out of the way.
extra.
So we're like, we get the 300 miles, so I figure 40 miles worth of just range loss from elevation, and then 40 miles lost from the bikes. being
And
on there.
there's a level 2 charger in Payson at the Quality Inn, where I'm charging it all the time, so you can go there, and that has 64. It's a wall charger, and nobody is usually there. Just go to the hotel,
In Payson?
say hello in Payson to the Quality Inn, and then plug in of that wall charger.
They have like a cafe there or something?
On the opposite side is that Swiss Village and cafe and so
Oh yeah,
on.
that place, yeah.
That-
Oh, so we could probably plug in there.
Yeah, I would plug in there and stay there for an hour or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Then
can
you,
do that.
you charge with 48 amp, it's not bad.
Yeah, that's
240 volts.
Pine
Well, when
Top.
we get up there, we found a guy on
Leave
PlugShare
the day
that has
early.
chargers in his garage. He has a wall charger in his garage that he said we can use. And I also found 3 campsites that have 50 amp.
But
services.
the quality in will they'll let you to. Usually it says for patrons only.
Right.
Well,
but
yeah,
they'll
but
let
once you
charge.
get up there, you got to charge up your car again. We're going to need to charge
Yeah.
250 miles. So
Yeah.
okay, we plug into 110. That's going to take. We're only going to be up there for 3 days.
Yeah, you're not staying for 3 days.
Yeah.
You need 240.
So we go to the campsite, or the guy. He said, just give me a call if I'm. I'll give you the access code to the gates, and you can charge up. So we'll charge up. So just getting there. So we'll check that one out. Maybe stop there and have lunch on the way up.
So the supercharger in Payson is still in build.
That'll be really nice.
Yeah, that would be very nice. Then
'Cause I haven't driven on the freeway with the bikes yet to see what kind of drag it is, but I'm sure. my efficiency's
because then
gonna
you
go
can get
down.
the whole Mid-East rimside and everything, snow low and what strawberry and everything there in that
Yeah,
neighborhood.
Payson's the key right there.
Yeah.
Yep. Hopefully they put a nice big one there. How many stalls did you say?
8 stalls.
8
8?
stalls? That's not too bad.
It should be alright. The Kingman one was only 8.
The Flagstaff is 4.
Flagstaff. Is it Flagstaff?
Flagstaff is 4.
No, when I went to Flagstaff, the one I went to had more than 4.
Kingman. We were in, where did we
It
go?
was,
Or did you go to
Prescott?
Kingman?
Did we go
Maybe
to
they
Kingman?
extended that, but the Flagstaff was
Flagstaff one is behind the hotel, and it had like 8 or something like that.
The courthouse. It's by the courthouse.
No, I remember that. Oh, 12 stalls now.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
they-
12 stalls.
They extended. They
There
extended
wasn't
that.
anybody there, but
They extended that now
Yeah, there's
because
a
it
lot.
was originally 4.
Was
You
it?
said we didn't
Yeah,
have
because it
to
looked like a
charge.
little section, and then there was a bunch of transformers and a whole big section on the other side of it.
Yes, because that's what the
That's
extended
the new
built.
part.
Yeah.
And it was only one other car when I was there too, so I'm like, that's nice.
Yeah.
So it's funny when I was traveling mid-states across, a lot of free chargers, empty chargers. I go to the West Coast, California, everything's full.
Yeah.
Because there's the most of the cars there.
And I only passed a couple Teslas on my travels, so I'm just waiting for.
But you know, it is the point is that California gets $4,000 extra on their RV shop.
Yeah, plus it's California. All those guys
Yeah.
have Teslas, I guess.
Yeah.
We're getting more of them out here. I see more and more when I'm out driving around.
Same
Which
as
is
me.
nice, yep.
Yeah. I even see him over by my work, which is.
So this was your big garage here.
Yep.
Hey,
1,000 square feet on the bottom, 1,000
Shop.
square feet on the top.
very cool.
Yep.
That's the big shop here. And you probably have a whole bunch of tools also.
Yep. All my tools there. Even make a bunch of tools, specialty tools.
Don't need none of that no more, though.
I used to be building cars for decades.
Yeah, but not anymore.
Not anymore.
No, in electric cars you don't have to do a lot.
Nothing.
Well, still with the
Selling
Leafs, I
video
need
work.
something fun to do. But now that we have the Model 3, as soon as we got the Model 3, all of a sudden we're gone every weekend.
Yeah, I request all this time off from work. They're like, "Where are you going?" I go, "Have Tesla will travel."
Yes.
Can travel. Yep, we're going back to Bisbee. We're going to
Yep.
Prescott next weekend, then Bisbee
Right.
in October,
We're going
Pine
to
Top,
California and Bisbee.
and then back
in
to
October.
California again.
Or go to what's that? Cottonwood and
Oh, Cottonwood, yeah, yep.
Cottonwood is nice as well.
We'll
Cottonwood.
go to Prescott, then Cottonwood, and then up to Jerome.
Jerome,
Yeah.
yes. There's a nice
Really,
We
yeah.
should do like
winding road.
Regen all the
Oh,
way
there's
down.
a Tesla. There's a Tesla meeting with wine tasting.
Up there?
Yes, we have
Probably
to.
that's
I
wine
have to
country,
give you the
Yeah,
information
give
when
me.
it is.
If it's not a
have to give you
Sunday,
the
I can go.
information.
Yeah, so we do a lot of day trips on the Model 3, which is
It's
cool.
not on Sunday. It's on a Saturday.
Oh, good. Then I can go. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a totally fun car to drive.
Yep. Now we're hardly ever home on Saturdays now.
Okay.
Before with the Leaf, we go
Yeah.
run our errands, and about 45 miles later, we come back home. We're stuck at home.
Yeah,
Got
to
to
leave.
plug in again and wait a few hours.
Or go to the unexpected and charge there.
Yep.
Now you are free to leave the country.
Yeah, we can go wherever we want and not have to worry.
So I'm gonna now do another swing around your car. We're gonna do another swing around the car. And it's gonna be in the video. What VIN number is it?
12450.
Oh, that is pretty early.
Glad you behaved.
Well, it took us, so we rented your Model 3. I think that was in early February.
Yes. Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later, we got our invite. As soon as they opened them up to everybody, we were the first batch to get our invite. So we ordered our car that same day. And then right about then is when they did some adjustments on the assembly line or something. And there was a backlog of like a month and a half, and we got stuck in that. So it took us almost 2 months before we got delivery.
That's
Okay.
okay. Turned out,
And that was the longest 2 months. The other 2.5 years we waited was like nothing. The last 2 months was the worst.
Okay, guys.
Thanks for coming
Mike,
by.
thank you.
Yay!
You enjoying the car? Hey.
Oh yeah, such a fun car.
That's good.
I pressed and say, I went and said.